third installment of our Fustle, Flow plus Hustle business series. Hello, Miss Steed. Glow, do I say your name Glow? Is that how we say it? I mean, I know we've been friends for a while now, but I just need to know. Is this how I say it? All right, as everybody's joining us, be sure to go down. Is there a way to invite people? Let's go invite a couple of people. Go invite a bunch of people to join us today, my friends. And let's just invite some people. I'm inviting people. You go invite people. Fantastic. All right, now, everybody. Oh my gosh, where'd you guys go? Come back. This is, super put together of me. Okay, there we go. Let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about how to fall in love with sales. In my Master's Academy program, I do an entire 5-hour training basically, because you don't do it all at once. That would be overwhelming, about the energetics of sales. And so I'm wanting to really touch on these things today. And my intention is to help you actually enjoy this process and make it easier and more effortless for you so that it's not heavy. So the very first thing that we're going to do to jump into this is set the stage for really how to shift your energy about the sales process. Now, oftentimes the reason why we're not enjoying selling is, here it is, number one. Okay, no, that's not how, I'm going to tell you something first. The sales process is frustrating to you when you have a weird goal about why you're doing it. Now we're going to get into the specifics of this, so hold on, you guys. When you approach a sales conversation, whether it is actually in your sales copy, over the phone, or through Messenger, I highly recommend, especially in your upper packages, that you have these conversations over the phone and in person with people. It's the most impactful way to really get clear on if what you're doing is a fit for them, and quite frankly, if they're a fit for you. When I work with people, the entire sales call, I am not trying to prove to them to buy from me. I am sitting there, honest to goodness, thinking, do I want to work with them? They don't even know this, but through the way that they engage and interact with me on the call, from if they show up on time to how they answer questions, that entire process is me actually interviewing them, me qualifying them to get to work with me. And I want you to hear, just with me saying that slight shift in your perception from feeling the need to convince or manipulate someone to just shifting and really letting go to and coming to a neutral place where the whole intent of the call is really just to see if it's a match. That's it. And when you move there, the pressure goes away, because when it's really about an authentic fit, you don't have to fake, you don't have to perform, you don't have to show up weird. It relieves a ton of the stress and pressure associated with selling. So let's jump in. Number one tip to fall in love with the sales process. Here's the number one. Be sure you guys take notes. Take notes on this stuff. This is important, okay? Step one, stop selling. Stop selling. And again, we just touched on this briefly. You have an association in your mind with the word sales. And oftentimes, even just culturally, there's the stigma around sales and don't try to sell me. And the truth is, nobody likes to be sold. The idea of being sold is somebody showing up and getting you, manipulating and forcing you to buy something that you didn't even want in the first place. Okay? That's this whole I don't want to be sold. Okay? Nobody likes to be sold. But everybody likes to buy. Everybody loves to buy. They just don't want to be sold. So, you've heard this whole the slimy car salesman story and perception. That's kind of where this is coming from. That feeling of someone tricking and manipulating you into a sale. And honestly, that fear, first of all, if you have a fear of somebody tricking and manipulating you into a sale, it is actually showing up on the other side. Hey, Rochelle, welcome. It's been a long time since I've seen you, my love. It's been so long. I adore this woman. Okay. If you are unconsciously afraid of being sold or being sold to, hey, Kim, that's going to show up and manifest in your fear of being too pushy. If you're afraid of someone pushing you, you are going to actually in an attempt to like overcompensate, you guys, in an attempt to overcompensate, you're going to pull back and you're going to be softer in your offers. You're not going to be as authentic in your claims and as bold in your claims because you're way too afraid of people feeling sold. So I'm working with a client right now, actually, that this is her thing. And she's so afraid of being salesy on her personal page. And she's wondering why she can't fill up a program. So I went to, and we were doing a consult at this time, and I'm like going and looking at all of her business pages. And I look at sales copy. I'm looking for the energy behind it. Again, it's not about what we do, it's the energy behind it. And I went to her business page and I went to her website, and we were like doing this evaluation. And she had a business page that had about 2,000 likes, which is great. That's pretty great. But with the new Facebook algorithm, business pages are not getting the same visibility as a personal page is, right? I went to her personal page and she had around 4,000 friends. And I scrolled through her Facebook page, and in the last year, she had mentioned her business 0 times. She hadn't even done an inspirational post about what she does. So what she does is she teaches women, specifically women, about manifestation in relationships, right? How to manifest in whether it's in your marriage or in a dating scenario, okay? So that's what she specializes in. But there's nothing on her entire personal page that even indicates that. There's just a tiny little link to her business page up in her like little about, right, on her personal page. You guys, that and then I went to her personal page, right? I went to her business page and I could see. So what it was an indication of her being afraid of being salesy, to the point that she didn't let people even know she existed. It's really important that you address your fear of being sold, because it manifests in your fear of actually being like selling, allowing yourself to be seen and gaining the exposure required to call in your ideal clients. And there's a way of doing this, you guys, that doesn't have to be spammy. You don't need to be constantly messaging people. I only message people when I get an intuitive hit. I see them following my videos a lot or something, and I just get this like, reach out to Caitlin, right? Or whatever it is. Reach out to this person, and then I'll like start up a message. And sometimes people respond, and we engage in a conversation, and we eventually get on the phone and see if there's a fit. But sometimes they don't. But I really actually don't recommend the whole copy paste message, because people can see through that and they can sense that and feel that, and it's not very genuine. And touch Bree. Bree, touch Bree. So that's important to remember in the sales process. So the first thing is stop selling. You get to start shifting what you call your process. So my sales process looks like my goal being inform and inspire. So I want to educate people and I want to inspire people. That's my marketing, while still letting them know what I do. And this is something I could even get better at, because I'll have people sometimes message me and they're like, so are you a coach? And I'm like, what? I'm literally online all day, every day, basically trying not to talk about what I do too much. And yet people still are like, what do you even do? So it's important to be aware that obviously we don't want to spam people, but it's more your association to selling that's blocking you. And even when you're afraid of selling, then even when you try to sell, people can feel you being afraid of being salesy, and then you actually do come across salesy. It's that whole idea that what you're afraid of, you actually manifest, attract, and create. So it's time for you to resolve your issues with that feeling of being sold. Like, really let that go. Try not to run from the kiosk people. It's okay to just say no. You don't mean it personally. You're just not in the zone. Okay, you just say, no thanks, I'm good. You smile and you keep walking. That's okay. But notice your feelings you get, even as I'm saying this, right? When people are on the street, those adorable Girl Scouts, right? Or people right now, they're doing this in my hometown. There's someone sitting by the door and they're like asking for cans for this food drive they're doing. And there's like 3 of them. So you like walk in the store and immediately it's like, give us cans. And it's like, right? It's like, it's a sale. They're wanting, anytime a sale is anytime you're wanting to get someone to take a specific action. All right. So notice your energy in association to those things. Notice why you feel that. How did they approach you? How did they handle it? So that you can fine tune your method so it feels good to you. I work with clients that range from all different industries, primarily service-based, soul-driven entrepreneurs, but I also work with some top MLM leaders. And one of the up-and-coming MLM leaders that I just started working with, this is something that she was experiencing. So she was told by her upline to just basically spam people, right? Go through her friends list and send this pre-written message, like copy paste. Give me a 1 in the comments if you've ever gotten one of these from an MLMer, a coach, or, you know, I get them sometimes from people who've just written books that are trying to like get it out or whatever. Put a 1 in the comments and let me know if you've experienced that. And then if you have, how does it feel? How does it feel when you get that pre-written message? Does it feel good? Does it feel yummy? I actually had a guy send me a message, and I'm going to pull it up for you guys right here for the sake of this conversation, that was so well done. So well done. And I could tell the way he was doing it. I'm moving this so I can get onto my desktop. I could tell with the way that he was doing it, you guys, that he was pitching me. I could tell. But he pitched me in a way that it was about me, not about him. What he could really provide for me. So I'm going to pull him up here because it's absolutely fantastic. And I'm actually going to get to go to here, to here. So, and I even messaged him back and said, you know, how many of these messages have you sent? Because I wanted him to know that I knew that it wasn't a personalized message to me. But I'm on a sales call with him next week. That's how good it was. And I don't do appointments with just anybody. So pay attention, you guys. He said, he starts with this line. Okay, just enjoy like the brilliance of his marketing, right? This is why I'm like, ooh, you're good. I didn't feel spammed by you. He says, I will close sales for you, Nancy Ray. I'm like, okay, tell me a little bit more about what you do. I will close sales for you, Nancy Ray. Hi, Nancy. Firstly, thanks for the consistent and high quality content. I find it motivating, informative, and entertaining. So it is true. I am all of those things, but I know I'm not the only person that he said that to. But it's true. And I know from the way he said that he targets people like me specifically, coaches, mentors, speakers, authors. He goes on to say, I've been in sales for 14 years. I've studied sales techniques, blah, 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 blah. New line, I have a passion for business and self-education. I'm starting by offering my sales services to online entrepreneurs to sell their products, seminars, and courses. How do you sell your offerings, Nancy Ray? See, he's so good. If you want an experienced salesperson working on your behalf who you don't have to pay until a sale is made, I'm your man. I work on commission-only basis and use powerful sales scripts which can be adaptable to any market and product. What are your thoughts? I look forward to representing you. Dane. Oh, shoot. I wasn't going to say his name. Ah, dang it. Anyways, well written. Damn, son. Right? That's written really, really well. And I love it because it doesn't feel super salesy or pitchy like buy for me. He's leading with value. And it's easy to do that because I don't actually have to pay him until he does something for me where he closes a sale. So he's an industry where that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So if you're a coach or an intuitive, something you could lead with is maybe your freebie 30-minute session. So typically it really depends on the call I'm offering, but in my exploratory calls, my goal is to really get clear on where they're at and help them get clear on where they're at, and so they can see what they need to do next. Because oftentimes in the space of being an entrepreneur, it's just like clusterfuck, right? It's like I have no idea what to do next. There's so much going on. I don't even know where to start. It's confusing and whatever. So that's one of the core things that I do with people. So you can see how in that moment I could add value. So if I wanted to say offer a specific session and say, like I have a particular reading session that I'm offering now, which is called a genius activation session. So if I wanted to offer someone that for free, and this would be if I was really engaging with someone who I see as like one of my bigger client packages. So if I was looking to sell one of my 25K or 50K packages to like a big CEO of a company that was going to include a lot of different services for them and what they're doing, I may lead with offering like $1,000 session or $1,500 package or whatever, free, like as my, let me show you what I can do for you. And then we'll see at that point if it's a fit. So anyways, this is just a nice thing to do, right? Like all of these videos I do, all of these trainings I do that are free material, this is my way of like offering value first versus coming online and being like, buy my program, buy my program, buy my program, buy my program. I mean, honestly, I maybe do 1 or 2 posts a week that even hint at what a product or service is that I offer. So again, but that's what feels aligned for me. So you would get to determine what really feels aligned for you. So I don't recommend, for example, with that woman that originally started this story that works with an MLM company, that she just spam people on her list. It doesn't feel good to her. It feels yucky to her. And your energy, your vibration, you guys, is your law of attraction. What's the word? It's your center for your law of attraction. So if you're feeling yucky and heavy about your business, you will attract more of that. So your sales process, this is why I say stop selling. If you don't like sales, then I want you to stop doing them. Change it. Change it to be, you know what? I'm not going to sell today. I'm going to inform and inspire. You know, there's a reason my calls aren't called sales calls. They're called exploratory calls, because my whole intention, and this is part of moving into step 2, but is I change the goal. My goal of my sales conversations, you guys, is not to sell. It's not to make a sell. And certainly I want that, like that is an overarching umbrella intention. But when I'm sitting there in that moment on the phone with that person, my number one goal is to help them. What is the next step for their expansion? And if it's to work with me, woo, woo, right? Like, awesome, we can get into a soul contract. And if it's not, I can direct them elsewhere. There are people, I do this when I'm on the phone and I recognize immediately I'm not the next step for them. I can just feel it. I can sense it. I refer them. I'll refer them to one of the other badass coaches I know. I'll refer them to an energy therapist that's their genius. I'll refer them somewhere else. Now, this is important because I recently left a coaching situation in which I was told by my mentor that if someone was on a call with me, then they were meant to work with me. Even if in the moment they thought their intuition was telling them that it wasn't a good time or wasn't a fit. Do you guys see how like that's incredibly manipulative. So that is important to remember. So anyways, my goal being, I get on the phone with them and I'm like, all right, what is their next step? And I spend most of the time like digging, asking them questions. And this is a gift. As I'm asking them questions, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that's what I was thinking. I didn't realize that was how I was feeling. And they're having these ahas and breakthroughs all along the way. And I'm getting uber clear on if I actually want to work with them and if I am the next step for their activation. And yes, here's something that's really important to know is that the beginning part of your funnel or your sales process of informing and educating, really, if you're being authentic, like we talked about yesterday, you guys, authenticity being the foundation in your marketing, you're not going to get people that aren't a fit for you. By the time that you're actually on the phone call, more than likely, like 75% of my sales calls I close. And it's because they're prepared, like leading up to it. I want to honor my time. I want to honor theirs. If we get into a conversation and I can tell immediately I'm not a fit, I'll end the call after 15 minutes. Okay, that you got to give yourself permission to do that. Hey, Gary, welcome. All right, so step 2 to falling in love with the sales process is to, okay, yes. So I rearranged my steps right before I jumped on the call. So my notes are like all these arrows. Step number 2, you guys, is to be confident in what you're providing. This is so important because if you really believe in what you're providing, you are so ignited and so excited to have conversations, have sales conversations about what it is that you do because you know you can actually really help people and you love the helping of them. Now, if there's a lot of doubt and a lot of fear about what exactly your service is or what exactly your niche is, or you're like wavering, waffling back and forth about really knowing and owning your genius, you're going to hate sales because what sales will be for you guys is a reminder of the inadequacy you already feel. One of the keys to being an expert at selling is to believe in what you're selling and to be confident in your ability to deliver that thing. That is the foundation. Because the minute you get on a sales call and in a conversation, especially if you're not confident, you're going to feel the need to prove to them that it has value. So the key, you guys, is when you're on a sales conversation to not be like leaning forward, like, instead lean back and realize like this isn't about you proving anything to them or to anyone. It's not about like, let me convince you and say fancy things so that you think I'm good enough. It's holding a place where you know the value speaks for itself and you're confident. And if you can tell that there's a miscommunication, this is going to bring us to step 3. Okay, I'm so excited. See, I get so excited about the next step. If you can see that there's an objection, because you're so confident that you know that you can deliver, the only reason there's an objection is 2 things. Either they don't really know what you are doing or what you're selling, or 2, they're actually not a fit. And either one of those is exciting. And that's why people say go for the no, because you want to go and figure out, like, get clear as fast as possible, right? Like when people go fail faster, what they mean is try all the things that don't work really, really fast so you can get to the thing that does. So when they say go for no, it means go and find the objection, because the objection is the indicator. And this is actually step 3. We're getting to that in just a minute. But the objection, you guys, is the indicator of 1, where they're not understanding the value and you haven't communicated it accurately, or 2, they're actually not even a fit for the product. Because the truth is, if they're a fit and they actually understand that what you do delivers the value, boom, easy, easy sale. Wouldn't it be fun for sales to be easy and to love and enjoy the process? So you guys, you get to be confident. Know what you do, know why it's different, know and own your genius, baby. And sit and really like permeate in the confidence that brings. So right here, I'm going to pause and remind all of you that every time you share one of my trainings from the last 3 days, it's counted, and you can only share each one once, all right? Don't go like, well, actually, no. Anytime you share it, you can share it to any and all groups you want. Every time you share it, you get added in a drawing to win a Genius Activation session with me, where we're going to go in depth and look at your core genius for your life's work, what you're meant to be doing. It's super juicy. So share that out. We'll have one winner, and I'll be announcing that later this afternoon after everyone gets a chance to watch the replay and share it out. And I think we've only had like 10 shares right now. So your chances of winning are like, really high. Okay. Step 3, I'm going to review these. Step 1, to really fall in love and enjoy selling, is to stop selling. Shift all of that, all right? Change that. And if you want to use something different than the word sell, then do it. Step 2, be confident in your offer. Really own and know and believe in what you are offering. And step 3 is to stop taking no's and objections personally. When you take them personally, it takes you completely out of the game and you go back into your head. I actually had a really interesting conversation in the last few days. So actually, I'm going to do the shares. Yeah, they're all me and my catfish accounts. Bree, you're hilarious. Okay, so interesting experience. I've had a couple of business meetings the last few days for some new things that we're adding into the business. And I met with this individual, and he was kind of like standoffish and weird the whole time. And I'm like, what? And a past client was sitting in on this interview process, right? It was basically a sales thing. He was supposed to be pitching me, and he didn't pitch me at all. It was so weird. And I had a past client sitting in, and at the end of it, we went out in the hall, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Why was he mean to me? Why was it so weird? And he's like, she goes, honestly, I think he was intimidated by you. And I was just, what? This grown adult male that's brilliant in business and has this thriving marketing business. He does social media cool stuff. And he's intimidated by me. And I was like, no. And my client goes, yeah, actually, I used to be terrified when I get on calls with you. On our group calls, I'd hear people say stuff and I would think, what is she going to say to this? She's going to rip them a new one. And then you would answer and it would be so nice and really insightful. And I was like, okay, people just think I'm going to be mean or something. I don't know what that is. Vadar Nancy Ray, right? So give me a 2 in the comments if you at any point have thought I was intimidating. Go ahead, let me know. I'm taking a poll. Because it's so funny sometimes to learn what people's perception is of you. When you're inside your body and you're you and the way you think, and then people perceive you that way, you're like, what? This actually happened in high school. I got pulled aside. So I've been playing on varsity since I was a freshman, and I got pulled aside by the coach, and he said, you know what? I'm debating even letting you on the team this year. Alexi's my cousin, and she's like, I'm afraid of you. Okay, so he pulls me aside. Is like, I don't know if I'm gonna let you on the team. I was like, why? He's like, because people are afraid of you and they think you're mean. I'm like, are you kidding me? I like love people so hard. Like, I love people so much. And so I was talking about with my husband this the other day. Yesterday, actually, we're at the gym and I go, okay, I just don't see it. Like, what is so intimidating? Because I'm a super nice person. My intention is always like, love people. What am I missing? And he goes, honestly, I think what's so intimidating, and this is part of step 3, you guys, is that you're so present with people and you're not in your head. You're void of any self-consciousness, that people know you're going to speak your mind, you're going to be truthful, and because you're not in your own head, they know you can really see them. And it's fucking scary. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is kind of scary. And I forget and I don't realize that most people, and it's not like I'm void of ever doing this, but you spend the whole sales conversation, you guys, it's the haircut, right? But you spend the whole sales conversation terrified and in your head and worried and self-modulating, like, what are they thinking of me? How are they perceiving me? What am I doing? So self-conscious that you're never actually really present with the other person. How can you really read or feel what's going on for them? And that's what I mean by taking things personally. The minute you take things personally, you become a selfish bitch. You do, because you're like, oh, and you immediately make it all about you. Remember we talked about this yesterday, you guys. Being self-conscious is the most selfish thing you can do. Rochelle. Oh, there's like people seeing each other and communicating. If this was a class, I'd be like, hey, no side conversations. Damn crybabies, right? Yeah, Bree. So they like, you go inside and you're like, oh, I feel so bad for myself. So when you get objections, when people either say no, or I'm not sure, or, I can't afford it, or it's really expensive, or it's not a good time. What are some other excuses we get? I don't know what my husband or my wife would think. When we have these things come up in sales conversations, you guys, do not take it personally. Because the minute you take it personally, what's happening is you're going, oh, they don't see my value. That's never the case. That's never the case. Okay, not never. But most of the time, the case is they don't see their value. They don't value themselves enough to invest the time, energy, or money to actually receive whatever it is that you're offering, whether it's health, energy, genius activation, intuitive guidance, whatever that is. Hey girl, hey Jess, welcome. Okay, so that's the thing. That's the thing. The minute you get self-conscious, that's where you're going. You're going all inside of yourself and making it all about you, but you're not showing up for them. When people have objections, you guys, it's a cry for help, honestly. Most of the time, by the time they're on the phone with you or in a conversation, they actually really do want what you have. Most of the time they want it, and actually humans are pre-programmed to say yes. So they actually really want it, but they have something in their head. And typically it's a pattern. And I'm going way into the energetics of sales, which is for another time, but I'm going to leave you with this little juicy bonus. Yes, definitely rewatch this, Jess. Like 100 times. Put it on replay and sleep with my voice in your head. When I get distracted sometimes when I talk to my favorite people, I lose my train of thought and I apologize. So live is great, but then it also is a squirrel thing. All right? It just is. I'm going to own that. So what was I saying? Oh, juicy sales secret. You can really, really empower people through helping them work through their most common objections. So for example, if someone has a big timing issue, I know it's often an indicator that that's kind of their pattern, that it's a timing thing. And I can just ask questions like, so how often is it not good timing for you? When has this happened in the past? I'm like giving you super bonus stuff here. And they'll go, oh my gosh, yeah, like last time I wanted to lose weight, or last time I wanted to grow my business, or last time whatever. Because typically if time's your excuse, it's never a good time. It's kind of like saying, when's a good time to have a baby? Never. Certainly there are more ideal times. I'm not trying to negate that. But what I'm saying is if that's typically your go-to excuse, it's like, oh, well, as soon as the kids are back in school. Oh, as soon as Christmas is over. Oh, now everyone has the flu after spring break. Oh, as soon as everyone's out of school, right? And then there's always something else. So you can really massively bless and serve people if you will stay out of your own head and quit making it all about you and just show up for them. What's going on for them? Why are they like struggling to see either like how this could really benefit them or to really give themselves permission to do what they're really feeling called to do? And I see this with intuition a lot. People use weird excuses to override what they're feeling called to do, right? Like the timing thing. And that's why I always bring it back to, what do you really feel like? What do you know is the next step for you? And if they say, you know, I really know the next step is this, and it doesn't include working with me, I go, fantastic. I honor that, and they go do that next thing. And then we get off the phone call. And then maybe in 6 months, in a year, maybe never, the timing and everything will be like the best, most aligned for us to work together. So you guys, objections either mean it's not a fit, okay? Or they have something internally that they want your help navigating through, or they're really not understanding the offer. Those three things. So let's wrap this back up. Hey, Kaylee. All right, so number one, to really love selling, stop selling. You guys, just start having just start dating. Stop selling, start dating. TM, I'm going to trademark that. Someone probably has already done that, but you guys, stop selling, start dating. If you started seeing your sales conversations like dating, unless you hated dating, and then come up with a totally new, metaphor for yourself. But if you enjoy dating, which I do, because typically, I'm adorable and I'm the woman, men usually buy my food and they take me out, and it's just so fun. Okay. And you get to meet new people. It's like so cool. So, hey, if you also don't like dating, think of it like networking. Yes. Think of it like networking. Okay. That's what it is. So you just get on the phone call with them, you guys, and your number one sole intention is to be of greatest service to their progression as possible. And if you know and really see, because you're number two, confident in your offer, that you can support them, then you're going to be willing to do whatever it takes in that sales conversation to show them that. And that doesn't mean manipulate and convince. That maybe means ask questions and help them clarify what they really want. And then answer their questions and show them how what you can do or what you provide or what your service is a fit. And then there's just this big orgasm. Literally, you find your soulmate client. It's like, woo! It's like happiness. They're so happy to pay you and to work with you. And you're so willing to totally receive the funds. That's the point. And number three, you guys, do not take objections and no's personally. Stop that right now. Because when you do that, that's part of why you often resist selling. You don't want to face any more rejection. You don't want to go through that again. Give me some hearts. That was brilliant. I'm waiting. Hey, welcome, Stacy. All right, you guys. So that is that. That is the key. That's the key. And as you begin to do this, you will look forward to it. When you see you have an opportunity to speak in front of a networking group and sell or let them know what you do, inform and educate and inspire, you'll be excited. When you open up your calendar and you have all sorts of exploratory discovery calls, whatever you want to call them, scheduled, you're excited. You're excited to go meet and have a soul reunion with really, really cool, epic people and find those soulmate clients that you are destined to support and work with. I love you guys so much. Be sure to hit share and get entered in our drawing. It's been a pleasure doing this Fustle, Flow Hustle business series with all of you. And I'll talk to you guys again really soon.